Today I'm going to talk about Attack, a band with a long history and impressive output, but still with a reputation somewhere between obscure and mysterious, perhaps one of the best kept secrets in the metal world. Attack were formed in Hanover, Germany 1984 by bass player, guitarist and singer Ricky Van Helden. He started his musical career as a drummer, so he could basically fill in any gap Attack might have in their lineup, and believe me, that was going to be necessary. He would remain the only constant member, while especially other guitarists and drummers oftentimes changed. With lead guitarist Andy and keyboarder-producer Thomas, he soon recorded the debut album Danger in the Air.
What a musty smell. Feel my heart is flowing as the night falls in and the mists are growing. A village comes in sight, hanging trees are sleeping. I am getting tired, now the coldness creeping.
Danger in the Air with its dominant keyboards does not exactly show the Attack style of later years. It's decidedly more 70s influenced, yet somewhere between Uriah Heep and Rainbow. The melancholic vocal style with unmistakable German accent even makes me think of krautrock bands like Eloy. Their sound would, however, change soon when their keyboarder left the band. Attack played their first gigs and then recorded their second album. Return of the Evil 1985 shows the band playing straighter and harder. This is their step into the 80s, and with a second guitar player added to the lineup, altogether more guitar-orientated, as the opener Warriors in Pain immediately proves. Attack's third album Beast Killer was recorded in 1986-87 but remained unreleased because the band broke up at this point. 2 years later, Ricky started a new attempt, now living further westwards in the Bielefeld area. 1989, their next album called Destinies of War saw the light of day. Attack had signed a new deal with ZYX Records, but problems soon showed since the album was hardly available anywhere, had a horrible artwork, and the contract ended prematurely.
Think we are crazy.
Destinies of War is my favorite Attack album. It has very catchy melodies like in Wonderland, but develops also a lot of atmosphere, for instance in Death Rider. I would like to quote a few reviews for Destinies of War to give you an impression of the reception the band received. It was a strange mixture ranging from admiration to indifference.
Rick has a very melodic voice which only complements the galloping arrangements on this disc. From start to finish, the guitar riffs are fast and very tight. At times, you feel like you are on the battlefield about to charge into the heat of war with the energy the band creates here. If you enjoy dual leads and twin guitar solos, you will not be disappointed as the dual axe attack rips and tears all over this disc, very reminiscent of Iron Maiden at times. I have not a single complaint regarding the musicianship on this disc. It is top-notch. While the band certainly hits the nail on the head with the straightforward power-driven songs, I am also very impressed with the tracks that start off slow, build gradually, then totally blow you away.
I dare say that in recent years hardly any other band has produced a better copy of Iron Maiden than the latest ZYX signing. If you copy so cleverly, Iron Maiden are by no means a technically bad band, you will find the right fan base. Attack are certainly not original. 5.5 points for Destinies of War, and the advice to all lovers of traditional heavy metal to give it a listen.
Attack are a band with potential who undoubtedly released a successful album. But there is certainly more required to become a sensation. The band's style is somewhere between Halloween and Iron Maiden. The result is melodic, mostly fast songs which are immediately catchy but still lack the finishing touches, a spark of genius of their own.
After the disastrous cooperation with ZYX, Ricky decided the band needed their own label and formed a company called Iceland Records. 1992, 7 years in the past, became its first output. Ricky was the only member from the previous album still featured on 7 Years in the Past. Probably the massive lineup changes caused another shift in sound, moving towards thrash metal with more aggressive riffing than before. The album stirred up interest, especially in Japan, where German speed metal was quite popular. 7 Years in the Past was distributed successfully over there, while the band remained obscure in Europe. In order to introduce the Japanese fans to the 80s works of Attack, the compilation Revitalize was issued in 1994, which included some previously unreleased material and re-recorded songs. For example, Danger in the Air from the debut album is included here in a totally different rendition. The Destinies of War album was also reissued with an improved cover artwork. Later the band recorded their next studio album, The Secret Place, for Iceland Records again. This is probably the most original Attack album. On The Secret Place, Attack could get rid of the Iron Maiden comparisons, which Destinies of War had undoubtedly deserved. Basically a melodic power metal band, Attack showed classical influences too, using flute and symphonic keyboard sounds. They were lacking the doom influences you hear in many epic metal bands, so I wouldn't put them under that label, although they are sometimes getting close also in their lyrical subjects. But the more important point is that Attack never stood still and always were open to creative progress. After The Secret Place, unfortunately, no tour followed. With this strong new album in hand, it would have been the perfect time to promote the band on a wider international scale. They were 11 years in the business already. But promotion had never been their strong side, probably lacking a professional management. In 1996, when I organized a show for another band at Bremen, which is just a 1-hour drive away from Attack's hometown, I sent a letter to Ricky asking whether they would like to play as special guest second band on the bill. I was willing to scratch some money together for that, but he kindly declined my offer, saying they weren't really prepared to do that, first would have to rehearse a lot and so on. Basically, Attack were not a live-playing band at the time, but had become a kind of studio project. I saw the drummer of the band, Tsaki, a couple of years later perform with a band called Soul Doctor. Another year later, in 1997, Ricky announced in an interview with United Forces magazine that they had finished a new album entitled Deadlocked. It would go more into progressive, futuristic areas than the previous more old-fashioned fantasy-orientated albums. Founder member Thomas had returned to play keyboards again on these recordings. That sounded very promising, but we are still waiting for that release. According to the band's former homepage, the tapes exist, but were never mixed down and mastered for release. Regrettably, at the end of the 90s, that was pretty much the end for the band. In 2012, a compilation of remixed old songs was issued under the title Warriors of Time. But no official new long player has followed since 1995, 30 years ago. There are at least 2 unreleased albums sitting around. It would be great to get Beast Killer and Deadlocked someday. Fingers crossed, and thanks for watching.